Hi guys, how are you? How are you doing? I'm just from reading something that has broken my heart right now. Something has broken my heart that I'm just from reading about the expired drugs at ZAMMSA. I don't know what kind of Zambia we are living in. It's very recent when condoms that were expired and some test kits that were expired were learned that they were disposed on the market for the Zambian people um, to use. All right. And so, of course, we talked about it. We cried foul about it, and we really complained that a lot of people used those things that were expired, and they were at risk to contain STDs. They were at risk to get sick, and so many other things that we talked about. And thereafter, we saw the Minister of Health being fired, Dr. Chitalo Chilufya, and recently we saw some people being fired again, and also I don't know if it's suspending them, and also um, terminating the contract for Honeybee. All right, our lives matters as Zambians, and if we have leaders that cares for us, they should love us too. All right. Um, we are the ones that vote them to be in power, and so they should care for us. All right, as they are leading us, and not just doing things as if they are giving things to animals, or as if they are leading animals. That's not the way it's supposed to be. So I was going through social media just a while ago, and then I came to learn that there are actually some expired drugs at ZAMMSA when hospitals, clinics, they don't have medicine. All right, somebody would go to a clinic or a hospital, and they will be asked to go and get medicine at a drugstore, at a pharmacy, that the hospitals, they don't have drugs. The clinics, they don't have drugs. But then today, this afternoon, we see some drugs have got names that I can't read. Okay. Insulin is given to those that are diabetic, right? And these are the things that we are finding in hospitals, that somebody would go who's diabetic, and then they'll be told that they don't have insulin. It's out of stock. They don't have it. But we are reading today that insulin is among the drugs that are expired. How come that the government can procure drugs and keep them until they expire? How possible is that when the hospitals, they don't have drugs, and you have drugs that are expiring? What is going on with our country? What is it that, I don't know if it's a leadership, has done that is making them to behave the way they are behaving to the people that they are leading, to the people that put them in power? Because that simply means there is no safety here, and our health measures are not being taken with care. We are actually being taken for granted. And the people that we thought, when we put them in power, they are going to do the right job, they are going to take care of us, are not doing the way they promised us and the way they are supposed to do it. Just how can you have expired drugs being stored when your hospitals, they don't have drugs? The clinics, they don't have drugs. And you ask people to go and buy at the pharmacies, at the drugstores, when you actually have the drugs that people want when they come to the hospitals, the drugs people want when they come to the clinics. Where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? What is going on in Zambia? What is this leadership that we have in Zambia? Of course, comments here, people that have been to the hospitals are actually confirming. Going in clinics and hospitals, there are no drugs, and yet drugs are expiring. And that's one thing I remember says, vale tulanga ivory, but kunuma vale tubaitinga. These are some of the things actually when they can even take the same expired drugs to the hospital, to the clinic, and some patient is taking them and they are not improving, they are just getting worse and worse in their sickness because these things are expired. Imagine maybe there is somebody that you know. Of course, in Zambia, everything is all about connections. They go and get those drugs they give you because you've got a connection with them. And then you take those expired drugs, you start consuming them. Don't you think that somebody can get even more sick because they're taking expired drugs? Why do you keep the drugs instead of distributing them for the purpose they were bought for, they were procured for? Why don't the government do that? Why don't the Ministry of Health do that? Whoever is in charge of distribution of those drugs in hospitals and in clinics. Some people are dying because of no drugs at the hospitals. Some people are getting sick and more sick because of no drugs at the hospitals. Wow, drugs are procured already and being kept till they expire. Why did you procure the drugs? Why did you procure the drugs? What were they for? You procure, you spend money as a government, then you go and keep it so that it expires. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. When you procure the drugs, you have to distribute into the hospitals, into the clinics, so that people can use them and get better with whatsoever sickness they have, and not to keep them until they expire. This one says we have relatives that struggle with diabetes. Products such as insulin have been a hassle for them. To read that they were left to expire is really saddening, and definitely it is saddening. Somebody's struggling with diabetes, they go to the clinic that they get the insulin, and then they are told, insulin there is no. But today we read that insulin is among the drugs that expired at ZAMMSA. That is not right. That is not right. And we had a minister there, Dr. Chilufya. What was he doing? If a new minister can go to ZAMMSA and check out what is happening, what is Dr. Chilufya? What was his job? What was he doing? Why didn't he check all those things that they were in place or not in place so that the drugs can be distributed? Instead, he chose to distribute makondo mionongeka, putting people at risk. Ma test kits yonongeka, where people are being tested for STIs, and everybody who tested had STIs, when in the actual sense, the test kits were not okay. And trust me, after somebody was tested, they have got STIs, they started taking the medicine. Now imagine somebody taking the medicine of the sickness that they are not having. That's also putting somebody at a risk. So what is going on in this country? What is happening? This one says, I am sorry to say, in the remote hospitals, we might have expired drugs in the pharmacies. If at all we don't have drugs in the rural hospitals, then the sad reality is having ZAMMSA having expired drugs when hospitals lack medicines. A complete review of most of these institution facilities needs to be done. The whole medical system needs to overhaul. When people are being told to go and buy medicine from various drug stores and others are even dying in the process, what has bewitched Mother Zambia? We need revival at the Ministry of Health. Many people are complaining, including me. I might have taken those drugs that are not even okay. And then we also have the ones that have been found expired. What is going on in Zambia? Where are our leaders? Where is the president? Of course, somebody will say, hey, the president is just a president. He can't be doing all these things, but he's supposed to keep in check. In most that you have a company, okay, and then you don't even check what is happening at your company. And when something goes wrong, they say, no, January director, I cannot. No, you have to be checking your company. You have to be checking the people that are under you. You have to keep check. Wawaitana, meetings, what is going on? Your ministry kwako, what is this? What is going on? Give me a report and everything. That's the way it's supposed to be. So we can actually ask, I can actually ask that where is the president when these things are happening? Where is he? Where is he? He's busy. He's busy doing what? Because the president is supposed to be busy working for the people that elected him. He's supposed to be busy putting the ministers, the MPs on the toes to do their job. But if he's busy and these things are happening, he's busy doing what? Doing what exactly? If we can be having these expired drugs at ZAMMSA, when they are supposed to be distributed in the hospitals, why are they not in the hospitals until they expire? What was the reason of procuring them? What was the reason? Why is the leadership killing its own people? Why don't they care? Why is the leadership not caring for people that voted for them? And when they get sick, they are not treated in Zambia. When they get sick, as government officials, they are not treated in Zambia. They are flown to other countries and leave the expired drugs to people and leave the hospitals that have got no drugs to people that they lead, the people that they want them. They want to be voted by the people that they are living without drugs. When they get sick, they go outside the country. The same people that they are giving expired drugs, expired testing kits, expired condoms, they're the people that they want to vote for them in this year's elections that are coming here. The same people that they are not giving drugs. How did we get here? How did we get here? What happened? How did we get here as Zambia? We are human beings. We are not animals. And even animals are supposed to be taken care of. That's why Kulima veterinary. Okay, so this one says, so they keep medicines in the warehouse until it expires, while people are dying due to lack of money to buy some of those medicines prescribed at the clinic. And yet, when we go to the clinic, we are only given Panadol and magnesium and told to buy some of the medicines mentioned from the drugstore. The demon that has entered the Ministry of Health and its associates is on the mission to wipe us out. My dear brothers and sisters, let's go back to the use of herbs like our ancestors. We are no longer safe, and definitely we are no longer safe in our own country if the government is behaving the way it is behaving. The way the government is behaving is not the way it's supposed to be behaving. You're supposed to care for the people that voted for you. You're supposed to love them. Because you know that after 5 years, you come back to them that vote for us. So if you don't keep them well as the ruling government, how are they going to vote for you? If they are going to remember that you give them expired drugs, you test them with expired testing kits, you don't distribute medicine, drugs in the hospitals and the clinics until it expired. Not that there is no drugs, but you procure the drugs and put them in the warehouse until it expires. If they remember all those things, how are they going to vote for you? How are they going to vote for you? If they want to protest over this same issue that I'm talking about right here, peaceful protesting, you're going to send armed men and women in uniform and guns that they shouldn't protest. But in the actual sense, what is happening should be condemned. What is happening should be talked about. This is not the way you're supposed to be keeping your people that voted for you, the people that you want to vote for you again this August. This is not the way you keep them. You have to keep them well. You don't care because when you get sick, you're not treated in Zambia. Is that the reason? Is that the reason you don't care about the Zambians? Because when you get sick, you are flown outside the country where there are proper drugs. And you get better and come back to Zambia. And when your own people that you're leading, the people that voted for you, they get sick, go to the hospital, there are no drugs. You get expired drugs, distribute on the market. You get expired testing kits, you test people of the sickness that they don't have and give them expired drugs on top of the disease that they are not suffering from. How did we get here? Or is it that all your relatives are flown out of the country? Don't you think there are some of your relatives that can consume those same expired drugs? Don't you think so? How did we get here? How did we get here? This one says, so heartbreaking. People in need of such medicines are dying and others subjected to borrowing money to access such drugs from expensive drugstores, and yet those bought by our taxes and negligently left to waste. Surely, why so much evil? Where is the problem? Who is responsible of allowing such wasted? Everyone responsible of such has contributed to preventable loss of human life. They therefore must all be charged for criminal negligence, prosecuted and jailed. Such things must not be allowed to be happening in Zambia. And of course, those drugs are bought from our taxpayers' money, our own money, so that we can be getting better. But at the end, even if it is our money that buys those drugs, the government decides to store it and not giving it to the people that needs those drugs. And people have died. People have actually died. And people are getting sick and more sick because of consuming the same drugs that are expired, because of not having medicines in the in the hospitals and in the clinics. While in the store, you have the drugs. What is going on? What wrong have we done to the leadership of this country? And where is the leadership that it can be treating its people the way it's treating its people now? Is it that you're only going to remember the people that votes for you when it's time for elections? That's when you promise them good things. That's when you give them money so that you can cover their mouths and not say anything. If only Zambians will remember what is happening. If only Zambians will remember all these incidents that are going on. If only you can remember. If only you can remember these incidents that are going on. Jesus. Jesus. So nishukufutikila fear, the so-called steaming, this is something that we should stick with. And oh my God. Where is humanity in our leadership today? If people are dying because they are telling them there is no medicine in the hospitals, where is humanity? Where is the love? Where is leadership there? Where is leadership? Where is the love? Where is humanity? If people are dying out there, when you have expired drugs, the same drugs that people want, you have it, but people are dying out there because you're keeping it in your store. And of course, some people would not want us to talk. No, and we're a gospel artist where you're not supposed to talk. I'm a gospel artist, I've got relatives. And if these things are happening, they affect me. I can die because of such negligence. My relatives can die. My loved ones, my friends can die because of that. And this is the only Zambia that we have. If we had another Zambia, by now, we could have moved to another Zambia that is maybe safe. But we only have one. If we had another one, we could have moved. Maybe the other one is safer than this one. That's what could have been in our thoughts. And we could have moved to that other Zambia. But we only have one. And it is this Zambia that is supposed to be the best country for every Zambian. And not only for some Zambians. No. We are all Zambians supposed to be taken care of. We are the ones that votes. Don't only come back to us when you want to our votes. And after our votes, you start mistreating us and not treating us as humans, but like animals. That's not the way we're supposed to be. It's supposed to be. That's not the way you're supposed to keep us. We are the ones that wakes up early in the morning to go and vote. It's our monies that you are using to procure those medicines that you are not giving to us, but letting it to waste and rot, expire, when we need it. How many people have died? How many people have you killed? How many people have died at your hands because of your negligence of not distributing drugs in the hospitals and clinics? But in the actual sense, you have the drugs. How many people have died? When we want to protest, to talk about these same issues, to go out on the streets, you are sending men and women in uniform with guns. And so the only platform that we have is Facebook. That's where we can talk. Because social media is sending the news viral in no time. In no time. God is watching. God is watching. God is watching. And we have survived. Some of us could have died. Even some people that are watching me and that will watch after this. You could have died, but it is only God that is keeping us because He knows that this is not our time to die. So even if we took expired drugs without knowing that it was expired, because now we know, but I'm sure we have taken expired drugs before, but God still kept us and now we are here. But now that we know that the drugs are expired, what are we going to be taking? What are we going to be taking? And how are we going to trust the government that the vaccine, when it comes for COVID, we have to take it? Because even if they take it to go and do the test of the same vaccine, they might even lie to us. They can actually lie. If they can, from last year, September, when they distributed those fake test kits that are not okay, the condoms that were not okay, and other drugs, and now these expired drugs. How can we trust them? How can we trust them that we can even give them a vote in August? How can we trust them? Somebody will say, no, you are talking politics and everything. Yes, it is the government that is ruling now. And I should talk about the government that is ruling now and what it's doing. This is not political, but I'm complaining to the government that what they are doing is not right. And how do they expect the people to vote for them if they are doing what they are doing to the people? In August, if people consume drugs that are not okay and they get sick, how are they going to vote in August? How will they vote? How are they going to vote? Because they'll be sick. How can insulin expire when people needs it out there? How do you keep drugs when you already procured them? Where did you procure them? Insulin people are buying out there at expensive prices there. Because that's the way it's supposed to be. A businessman or woman will take advantage if they know that the government has got no medicine. They will increase the prices of the medicines because they want to make money. The drugs can only come down in drugstores, in pharmacies, when government has got drugs at the hospitals. They will know that people would rather go and get it for free and not buy it. But here we are. Here we are. Expired drugs, but the government procured it with our own taxpayers' money. They procured the drugs, and they failed to distribute them until they expired. That is a shame, negligence, not caring for the people that you are leading, the people that voted for you, the people that you want to vote for you in August. How do we trust you for the vaccine when it comes? How do we trust you again that you are going to do the right thing if you come back in power, if you are treating us the way you are treating us? Even this is only February, March, April, May, June, July. About 6 months remaining, you're still treating your people the way you're treating them. 6 months remaining to voting. You want another 5 years. Another 5 years, you want it. You want another 5 years. And you are treating your people like this. I know for sure that there is a time when things get bad in a country to an extent that people just want change. Whether they like the person or they don't like the person, or they want his change. Maybe they are thinking, okay, when we bring this person, things gonna be okay. It's because of this kind of behavior. If the government is keeping its people very well, there is no need to change the government. But if the government is mistreating its people, there is need to change it. If you complain to your father and the father is not listening, that is the time you find your children doing things their own way. You complain to the government, it is not doing anything. What do? You'd want change. You'd want change. You'd want change. The comments here are so saddening. I'm seeing some comments here, very saddening. People are dying out there. People are dying out there. The struggle is real. And some of us have never received some of these drugs at our facilities for the past 8 months now. People have been buying Kanshva medical stores are keeping them. And now we are almost running out of PrEP drugs. People are heartless. Very heartless. 8 months without distribution of drugs. So this could be somebody who's in the health sector. 8 months, no drugs at their facilities. But today, we are talking of expired drugs. 8 months without drugs being distributed. Today, expired drugs, we are talking about them. And the government needs another 5 years. When in September, between September and December, they still gave us the hand B headache, where people used condoms that were not okay, where people were tested for STIs, and guess started consuming the drugs. And I guess the drugs that are expired. What kind of a government is this? Where are we leading or heading to rather? Where is humanity? Where is the love for the people that you're leading? There's Drama Beach here. She's saying, my cousin was given expired drugs at Chilenje Level 1 hospital. And these people that you are giving expired drugs, what if they get sick? Actually getting sick, there is. They get sick and fail to go and vote. What if they remember the honeybee, these expired drugs and all this, they remember in August? What happens to you? We really have a very serious problem. A very, very serious problem in Zambian leadership. It is very big. If the president loves its people, it can be doing checks and balances and having meetings asking these ministers, Muma ministries, yeah, what is going on? Kurivichan, what is needed? Are the drugs distributed? Not that the president was busy. If he is busy for what when he's supposed to be working for the people that voted for him? What is he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing about all this? What is he doing? If he's busy with what? His personal things and not the country that he is leading? What is he doing? What is he busy with? Vachitalu chirufiale sale mimona elore sale mipala konzoko mukale se ukamira mbula avena Zambia tete vachitepo efirifyonse but lesaka milambula. God will do something about you, sir. It is not this minister that has come up, Dr. Chanda, no. He's the one who has found that these drugs are expired. But you are the one who was in charge. And you failed to do your job. And even after being fired, you were still given a job in the government. If you were to tola fuevena Zambia, if you were to tola fifine, if you were to tola kwati to alishpula sa no tulo in our faces, somebody is fired, no arrest, no anything. And then still they give him a job without arresting him, without these, whatever they are called, to follow him up and just arrest him, because there was nothing to protect him by then. He was not in power. By ACC and corruption, corruption. They could have arrested that man because of what happened between September and December, but they didn't. And after a week plus, the man was given back some other job in the government and he is working. Tekututola konsyoko. Tekututola konsyoko for na Zambia. As I conclude, where is the Zambian leadership? Where is humanity? Where is its love for the people that voted for them to be in power and work for them? We voted for you so that you can go and work for us and not to mistreat us the way you are mistreating us. Imagine somebody that can't afford to go out there and get the medicines, the drugs that they need for their sickness. what happens to them? Consuming the drugs that are expired, go to the clinic, find there are no drugs, and then go back home to do what? To do what? To die, I guess. Somebody gets the drugs that are not okay, they keep consuming them and not getting better, they getting sick until they die. That's what the government has been doing the past few months. People have died, and people can still get sick, continue getting sick because of those drugs that they are consuming that are not okay. This is the time that each one of us should get closer to God than no any other time. This is a time that we should continue looking up to God, because there is no safety in Zambia in all areas now, because that is healthy, touching people's lives like that, without caring, without love, without... Anyway, God bless Zambia and the people of Zambia. And I pray that you have a good memory when time to vote comes. You remember what is happening. You remember the sufferings. You remember everything that we are going through. You'll be able to remember when it's time to vote, and you're gonna do the right thing. That is my prayer.